Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our English class. This is Ilyas Hariri, and today we have Unit 9 Helping Hands Making Friends. So, today we have period number 8, Unit 9, period 8, page 23. So, let's start our lesson, everybody, and talk about today we have a grammar lesson, relative clauses. So relative clauses, are relative clauses gives us essential information about who or which is happened. For example, relative clauses we use who, and we use who for with people. We use which with animal or things, and a human being. While that we use it with people, animal and things, so we can use that with both of them, human and a human being. Now let's start and talk about relative clauses, because relative clauses we have who, which. Now when we say who, look here with blue, I spoke with the man. So if I stop here and put full stop, you will not understand what I'm talking about or who is this person. I spoke with the man. I continue. The man bought our car. The man bought our car. So the man here is a subject. I spoke with the man, full stop. The man bought our car. Now when we use who, we remove the full stop and we remove the man, because I mentioned man before, so it's the second time. So it's better than repeating myself. I will say I spoke with the man who bought our car, or we can say, you can use who or that is the same. So in this case, I use this part, the relative clause who bought our car, to give me essential information about who is this man. I spoke with the man, and if I stop here, you will ask yourself, who is the man? So in this case, I continue, who bought our car. So in this time, you understand who is the person I'm talking about. Now when I came with which, I drove a van. The van is very big. So here I mention a van for the second time. So it's better for mention something for the next to the second time or next time or more than one time. It's better to change it with who, which or that. So I repeat the sentence, I drove the man, I drove the van, which is very big. I drove the van, that is very big. So I put which or that instead of the van, and also I cross out or remove the full stop. So now we have one sentence, instead of have two sentences. This is the relative clauses, everyone. Relative clauses tell us more information, essential information about what the person or the thing we are talking about. Example, I spoke with the man, I met him last night. Here we use I spoke with the man, I met him last night. Now him refers to who? Refers to the man. But he, it comes as object, not as subject in the first part. Here in the first part, I spoke with the man bought our car. So here the man is subject, and we remove it. We continue. I spoke with the man who bought our car. Now here in this sentence, I spoke with the man, full stop, I met him last night. Him here refers to the man who I'm talking about. I spoke with the man, I met him last night. When I put it or change it with the relative clauses, I change it. I spoke with the man who I met last night. So I remove the full stop, and I remove also the object and put instead who or that instead. Now Another example about which: I drove a van. My father bought it from the showroom. It becomes I drove the van which my father bought from the showroom. So I remove the full stop, and also I remove it here, and we put which instead, or that instead. This is all about relative clauses. So we use who and we use which to give us essential information about the person we are talking about, or the thing that we are talking about. Now let's come to exercise number 1 on page 23. In this exercise, look here everyone, exercise number 1, read the examples. 1. It feels right to give to people, full stop, they have very little. Now we change it now with who. It becomes like this: it feels right to give to people who have very little. So here we remove they, and we remove the full stop and put who instead. Number 2, we do projects. They help the local community. So they here refer to what? To projects, and the project is unhuman. So we remove it and put which instead. Becomes like this: we do projects which help the local community. Here we are talking, or what do we remove? We remove the subject, as I said before. Number 3, I read stories to young children. I met them every week. Here I'm talking about them, the object. So when I repeat it with and put who, which, or that, I have to put remove it and remove the full stop. It becomes like this: I read stories to children that I meet every week. So I remove the object and put that, and also remove the full stop. Number 4, there is something else I can do it. There is something else that I can do. So I remove the object and put that instead. Now let us look at the example again and take the best way to complete the statements. Number 1, the relative clauses in examples 1 to 4 are added what? Important or unimportant information to the first part of their sentences. Yes, it gives us important information. What about number 2? Example number 1 and 3 show that we can use who or that, or which or that, in relative clauses about people. When we speak about people, what do we use? Yes, we use who and that. Number 3, examples number 2 and 4 show that we can use who and that, or which and that, in relative clauses about things. Yes, we can use which and that. Number 4, in examples number 1 and 2, who and which are the subjects or the objects of their relative clauses. Number 1 and 2, they were the subjects. And number 5, in example number 3 and 4, that and that are the subject or the object of their relative clauses. Of course, they were the object. Now let's come to exercise number 2. In this exercise, page 23, form sentences with relative clauses. Join the sentences on the left and right. The subject's pronouns change to relative pronouns. Number 1, Tom is volunteer. He helped to build the playground. So we need to put who and remove the subject. Tom is the volunteer, as they wrote here. Tom is the volunteer who helped to build a playground. Number 2, he does various projects. Yes, they all help the local community. He does various projects which all help the local community. So we remove the underline or the word, we cross it out, and we put which instead. Number 3, Rosa is a person. Rosa is the person who she reads to a group of children. So we remove she and we put who instead. It becomes like that. Rosa is the person who reads to a group of children. Number 4, she does this at a library. It has various jobs for volunteers. She does this at a library which has various jobs for volunteers. Now let's move to exercise number 3. In exercise 3, we have the same exercise about relative clauses, but in this case we need to remove the object, not the subject. The object pronoun change to relative pronouns. For example, number 1, Tom talks about a project his group recently finished it. So Tom talks about a project which his group recently finished. So it he referred to unhuman, to a thing, so we remove it and put which instead. So Tom talks about a project which his group recently finished. Number 2, they built a playground. Everyone loves it. And it also referred to unhuman, so we need to put which. So they built a playground which everyone or if everybody loves. Number 3, Rosa is one of the volunteers who, because the local library uses them, the people of course, so Rosa is one of the volunteers who the local community, the local library uses. And number 4, Rosa has a group of children who she helps to read. So we remove them also because they refer to children and we put who. Rosa has a group of children who she helps to read. Thank you for attending, everybody, and have a nice day, and see you next time.